Okay, guys. So your installation, concerning your installation of QGIS, normally when you go to the site, you see a whole lot. Are you okay? So I'm gonna go there so that I can actually show you where I'm sure you probably got it wrong. So if we are on the internet now, okay, let me actually go to the internet. Let me go to Google. Let me search for QGIS. So QGIS. Okay, welcome to check. Download QGIS. Are you okay? That's it. Naturally, the first thing that you see is this one. Okay, now you see download for Windows. You could have been on some other Linux or operating system. That's not what you want. Now you'll be seeing OSGeo network installer. All that is there, but that's not what you're looking for. When you install that, you still have QGIS inside it. So even with ClassRep, Abeliga, it's possible you have QGIS, but you think you are still opening other things because this one is like a bigger one. The OSGeo installer actually gives you a bigger package. Are you okay? This one, it gives you a bigger package than you think, because QGIS like contains more things than just a desktop. Okay, but when you go further down, you are seeing QGIS standalone. Here is a bit, this one is smaller than the one up here. So you need to understand the standalone one. There's a network. Okay, there's something called a network installation, and there's something called a standalone. The difference is that the standalone works on one computer. The network one can be shared among so many people. Is that okay? All right. So there you go. That's it, done. Now, if you go in and download something from macOS, it means you're using an Apple computer. If you download one for Linux, that's also a different one altogether, a different operating system. Is that all right? So you want the one for Windows, okay, which is actually up here. Everything here is for Windows. They assume that most people use Windows, so that's the first one they show you. Is that all right? So those who've actually installed this one, the QGIS in there, those who downloaded this one, the standalone one, is also in there somewhere. It's up to you to find it. Is that okay? And then you can now use it. Okay, now so having installed it, you have to go to your programs menu and then type QGIS. And then look out for the desktop. Is that okay? So it's a desktop one that you need. You don't need any other one. You can have the desktop, okay? Sometimes it comes with grass. You don't want grass, okay? All right, so what you're looking for is QGIS desktop. And then you want to launch that, okay? So you launch this. I double click it, or you just click on it once. And then once you click that, then you are going to now be in a position to see everything that I'm going to show you, okay? In terms of this one that I showed you earlier, where is it from? Okay, this one. Okay, so now you have this interface, okay? And then we can start. But since most of you don't have it, make sure you ask all your questions now. And then we can now do it properly next week. We can do some practical next week. Virtually to the intro to bringing the data in, setting map projections, maybe just one analysis or two. That will be done because I think next week is the last meeting. Are you on the same page?
Yes, please, sir.
Okay. So what are your challenges with the installation?
Now that I've seen it,
okay, I think we are all okay now. We are all happy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to actually bring in some data. Okay. So we'll be doing what we call toggling. Okay. Let me just give you. Let me give you a little bit of appetite as you get ready for the next one. Okay. We'll be toggling between screens. All right. So we'll be moving from QGIS and we go to a folder containing the GIS data sets. Are you okay? So here I'm going into a folder containing the data sets. So you can see that these are the files that I gave you, all right? And these files are called a shape file. I think I've talked about it. Sometimes I think I teach twice. So if you don't get it, it means you're not serious. That's why sometimes people think I'm not. I teach twice. Almost everything that I talk about it twice. Okay. Now, when you look at this one, how many files do we have in there? We have like 1, 2, about 5 of them. And I explained them in a PowerPoint presentation. Now you are looking at it for real. Are you okay? So let's say when I was talking about it, you thought, oh, this is theory. Teacher said practical. I've actually sent the files to you. So this is practical. Are you with me? The first file has an extension .dbf. It's a database file. The second file is .prj, which is a projection file. It keeps the projection, map projection in it. This one. All right. Now the third one is QPG, okay, which is actually like something related to the quantum GIS itself. So it's not really essential. Okay. Now we have the SHP, which is keeping the shape. Remember, and this straight away tells you that whatever I've given you is actually a vector data set because it's got to do with shapes. Because shapes, points, lines, polygons. Are you okay? SHS also supports the SHP so that we can see the objects. Are you okay? All right. So the first thing to appreciate, like I said, is the data sets. Okay. In fact, the first thing we actually coming to appreciate is the software, because we are all now struggling to install it. So we are kind of getting familiar with what it is and how it installs. Are you okay? Now let's look at the PLG. If you right click the PLG file and you open it with Notepad, a test, reading program. Are you okay? Notepad is a test editor, exactly. That's the right word to use. Now you see that contains, what we call the map projection. Remember that we discussed map projection as a topic. And I told that it's a mathematical thingy, all right? If you cannot see what I'm seeing, then you can see that everything here is telling you the mathematical association or relationship between the round earth and, actually this one is not even projected. It's just the round earth. So in other words, we have the radius of the earth, 663.78137. 298 is the flattening of the earth. Are you okay? Then we have the Greenwich meridian as the reference. So it's actually describing some kind of globe or round surface or spheroid. Okay, so the data you have has, oops, stopped as a shared window is closed. All right, where did it go? So my notepad is disappeared. That's also interesting. All right, so let me go back to where I was. Okay, so now the PRJ contains values which relates to the kind of data that we have in terms of projection. Is all right. And projection has got to do with the coordinate system. Remember, longitudes, latitudes, remember? All right. Okay, now, so you can have another PRJ file that is rather having the universal transverse Mercator that we discussed in our last lecture in map projection. So we need to appreciate the data set that we have, and now we can start actually using it. One of the first things you want to do is to drag it, okay? Drag the file and then put it into the QGIS software. So I'm just going to do that quickly for us. Next week, we'll do the same thing again, but I just want you to appreciate it. So I just dragged it into the QGIS, and you see, I'm beginning to now see, some digitized structures. So this is intro to our tutorial. So if you get the software running, drag it in and just look at it. Next week, we'll see how far we can go. Is that okay? And how much we can do. Is that okay? So I think we'll
Okay, sir.
end it here, guys. From time to time, I think I'll give you, notes in areas where I think the PowerPoints are not sufficient to support you. But we've got our last meeting coming up next week. Is that okay? Which is the practical.
Okay, sir.
Right,
But sir, I don't really enjoyed the lecture today because of how the network was going on and off. Yeah. So I think if Pardon?
What network are you using?
I'm using MTN, the best network in Ghana.
Most troublesome network. MTN is the most troublesome network. Anyway, so well noted. I've recorded it, so you can look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. I think when you push it forward, you can.